got me pondering. Next part of this intro series is pseudocode and planning. So caught me off guard. But let's start, right? Should be good. Remember one thing. Python, it's a journey. You're going to learn, you're going to fail, you're going to have fun. You're going to rebound, you're going to be stronger than ever, you're going to be better. But remember, at the end of the day, you got this. So here's the second video. Like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about planning in pseudocode. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's first talk about what pseudocode is, right? So pseudocode is the ability to plan. Well, let's talk about planning. Well, before that, let's talk about the people who could just dive into scripting and start ripping. I mean, it usually happens because they have a solid understanding of the fundamentals, which you're here to gain. So from that, let's move to planning, right? So you have this concept, this thing you need to do, these requirements, this ability to use the code that you learned in Python so far to get something done. Well, let's talk about planning. You start to think in your mind, you visualize what you need, what tools you have available at your fingertips to get this done. Cool. Start putting them down on paper. So think of things like who will be using this script, because that'll change how the script interacts. If you're just using some code and you write a couple lines of script to get something done, you don't care how it looks or feels, prompts or anything. You're like, boom, 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 you're done. But if someone else is using it, you're going to prompt for input, ask for things like that. It's going to be different. So this design mechanism of pseudocoding will help you get there. So to put it in perspective, you could use pseudocoding in a lot of ways. Like off to the side here, I have a problem. Change Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, relatively not too difficult. A pseudocode, print title, request input from user, store in a variable, convert the input, output to Celsius value. Basic four things you need to do, like quickly. It's a common pseudocode. Well, it's a journey. You could revisit this and you can go, okay, this is what I need to do. Do I need any other modules? Do I need any other tools outside of Python to pull in, to import, to build on this? You may not. Like everything that this little tiny requirement requires out of the box, Python can handle it. It's all part of the standard load, right? But for pseudocode, the best thing is simple phrases. Just keep it simple. At first, keep it simple. Later on, you can start to get tricky with your pseudocode and do inputs and use actual commands that you know and you've learned. But at this phase, just put your ideas down in some type of order. It'll help you code quicker. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is a different part of pseudocode, right? Print, title, input, convert, print. This you could leverage directly, really clean four things, mildly different from these. The ideas and concepts are here, but we're not using the words or, we are input, print, but output isn't a thing, right? And print is. So we kind of changed this. And if these had sub steps, you could always input and add white space between sections if you're going to make this a function or whatnot. But there are some proper ways to get better at pseudocode. And one is just do it to begin with. The more you write your ideas out and your requirements for coding, the faster you become. And the cool thing is, when it comes to actually scripting this, let's just do one really quick, right? New file, I'll pop this up over here. So when you grab this, you can take your pseudocode. You can use the same file, but I'm going to change it up for this, right? And what I like to do is just turn it into comments. Cook down and dirty comments. If not, use them directly. Add some spaces between it. Get friendly with the home and end keys on your keyboards. Not very many people use those. It's quite irritating, so use them. Let's talk about print the title of our script. Why is that a good practice? Well, when you run your script, you want something to come across on standard output in the screen to go, hey, this is our conversion, right? So print, really simple. And we're going to dive into what these commands are and what they do later on. This is just where you go from pseudocoding, right? Temperature, conversion, and we'll do Fahrenheit spell it right, to Celsius. Celsius, right? We'll do that. We'll store a couple hard new returns and a little colon there. I'll do a colon and hard returns, my bad. Cool, right? So that's your first line. So you need a temperature to convert. So you're going to grab this. You're going to toss it in a variable called temp in. You could call in the input command. Like I said, we're going to cover all these commands later on, so no worries, right? And you could simply say enter a temperature in Fahrenheit. You could capitalize it and, make it really stand out if you want. Fahrenheit to convert. Convert. And now we're going to do our conversion, right? So now we're going to temp convert. We're going to convert this sucker. And we'll say equals, let's see, around this. We're going to do a float here. And, the way I type, hey, it's the way I type, deal with it. You may type quicker, slower. What do we name that? Temp in. Temp in, it's no big deal, right? It's the important thing is the end state. What do I mean by end state? When do you get the correct answers? Is everything done? Are you happy with it? Right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, then multiply that by 5 divided by 9. I'm going to round it to. Let's see how this goes. And then print Celsius is converted. So now you're just going to print out the output. You could say print. We'll do F for fun. Your temp in Celsius is, and then we'll go ahead and toss in this fun stuff. What do we call it here? Temp convert, right? Temp convert. But what I'm saying here is pseudocode allows you to organize your ideas, to visualize what tools you need within Python to be successful. It also gives you the opportunity to simplify your code, simplify your ideas, and only meet the requirements, and keep it simple. There's no reason to add things just because it's cool that weren't asked for. Your temp in Celsius is degrees in, I'll put Celsius, why not? Because if people don't ask for something but you add it anyway, that could be an issue, right? So let's save this. Control S, save it. I'll just name it test for now. It's a bad name, but we're going to leave it. You can either go run module. You can click run module or hit F5. I'm just going to hit F5 to run it. Of course, it popped up on a different screen. I'll slide it over. Enter temperature in Fahrenheit. We'll say 72 degrees because that's what I wish it was right now. So there you go. Your temp is Celsius at 22 degrees. But let's get back to the problem at hand here. It's not the problem of converting Fahrenheit to Celsius. It's not the problem of which code to use yet. It's organizing your ideas. Organizing your ideas. Like this over here, this is a solid start. I want to print the title. I know I'm going to do that. Well, I need a temperature to convert, so I need to gather input from the user, store it in a variable, and then I need to convert that variable. I need to convert that input to Celsius, and then I need to display Celsius. Organize your ideas, because this is simple. There's a couple steps here. Well, what if it was a multi-function, multi-purpose script? So now your ideas are going to get more complex, and the more time you take to do proper pseudocode to organize your ideas in a formal manner, remember, eventually your scripts and codes, you're going to write functions all over the place and organize them, but they don't have to fire in order. They can be loaded in the memory. You can call on them as needed. But the pseudocode, getting used to doing this from the ground up right now, will help you maintain a solid methodology for scripting. And remember, you got this, right? It's not that bad. You can totally knock this out. Any idea you have, just start writing it down. You do this every day. Excuse me. You get up in the morning, you check your phone for the weather. If it's raining, grab umbrella. If not, don't. You could write that in the pseudocode. Open the garage door. Don't open a garage door. Use your phone to open your garage door. You could start to codify almost anything when you start to think in like simple pseudocode methodologies. And then all you need then is to learn the actual syntax of the language you're using to codify these actions. So plan, stick to the requirements, pseudocode, and remember, you got this. And thanks again for joining me at Bent Tech Delta 8. And I'm Zach, and I'll see you in the next video.